6 and we're burning the midnight oil. It's very late tonight. Couldn't be helped. So much is going on. Let's see if we're on here. Make sure everything is on. Yep, there we are. Okay. So, we're getting information that okay, so I'll start over again. I'll start over because it's just so crazy, everything that's going on. Um, this is 1,576 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. It was a code red, internal code red. He was betrayed because he was a whistleblower. He was a whistleblower for the criminal trafficking and other fraud there that's connected to Fort Bliss. And of course, El Paso is right there on the border with Juarez, Mexico, on the U.S. Mexico border. And it is really the epicenter. It is the hub. It is the nucleus of child child trafficking at the border. Of course, it's a lot of criminal trafficking, right? It's drugs, it's ammunition and arms, weapons, and also equipment. And, they can use these tactical move storage units. You have the whole military to take advantage of. And, my whole life has been connected to the military, so I absolutely know that the military has been taken advantage of. And that means that our sons and daughters that volunteer have been taken advantage of. And right there at the border, this epicenter of child trafficking, along with all the other, because you can't do child trafficking without guns, without drugs, without equipment and all of that. Okay. One goes with the other. And then, of course, you have to do the money laundering because you get this money in and you have to clean it up. And then, of course, you have to have a bank to put it in. And, it's a pretty, if you don't have the badges, the compromised badges and uniforms to cover this up, it makes it very easy, very difficult to hide. Makes it very difficult to hide it. The investigation can go very swiftly, and I think that's what they're worried about. They have a lot of hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, and they have a lot of missing and mostly dead children. And that happened on Fort Bliss, y'all. That was on Fort Bliss, this emergency intake center, the child care centers. They opened up lots of child care centers and subsidized by the American taxpayer. And, Bill Hicks could absolutely investigate these child care centers. It was his duty to do that. He's in real trouble. I mean, he's a usurper. He failed to install properly as a district attorney, so therefore he is a fraud and he's a trespasser. And he also, his administration has allowed this child trafficking to continue because all he had to do was start investigating these child care centers right there on Fort Bliss. And absolutely he could do that because they're licensed in the state of Texas. And so that makes it a dual jurisdiction, right? So, there's a lot of fraud going on there with the usurper district attorney. And then, of course, the courthouse is having its own earthquake, right? They are absolutely being shaken. It's seismic. It's absolutely seismic. And the whole, it's the whole courthouse is being shaken to the core. My question is who do they report to when they are absolutely in such a mess with the criminal law, the El Paso criminal law magistrate court, messing with all of these court cases because they're occupied um, by individuals that are imposters that are posing as judges. They've been appointed. They cannot be appointed in that court. They have to be elected. And so many of the rights of the people, to deny them the right to elect their judges, is a huge civil rights violation. To have appointed judges sit on that court is a violation of the Texas Constitution. When you have full jurisdiction, you have to have elected judges. And this is a violation of the Council of Judges because they absolutely know that those judges need to be elected, and yet they have appointed these judges. And then it's also a violation of the county judge, um, including Veronica Escobar and now Judge Samaniago, for paying these imposters, paying, um, they have to agree with the appointments, and they have to issue the paychecks. And so, um, the violations of Veronica Escobar and Samaniago are huge, are absolutely huge. And when everything is like a mess like this, who do you report to? You have to report to the Office of Court Administration, which is in Austin, Texas. And and there's uh, things. You cannot be in this big of a mess for this long, because this is going on since 2015, and not report to this office, court administration, right? And then the Office of Court Administration absolutely has a job to make sure that these courts are doing the right thing. And so, things are pretty messy. And for this new administration that's coming in, it's making it easy for them to say yes, that they've weaponized the system against their own community and individuals. And they're just absolutely in violation of the Constitution and the civil rights, absolutely the civil rights of the people. So that is so much, so much other things going on. And Nasia, thank you so much for chiming in so late at night, and the prayers and the love. And the big thing is that with this new administration trying to keep up with everything that's going on, because they're going very, very fast, and all the border news, the law news, they're focusing on sexual crimes, I think they're trying to posture themselves, because, for years they have been letting this kind of criminal activity go unchecked, and now they're going to start checking it, which is a good thing, right? It's a good thing if they start doing it, and not continuing it to let it go unchecked. So, but their dereliction in their duty, um, for many, many years, and many people got hurt and got killed, and our son being one of those. And so that is uh, really what I have for you tonight. It's been a pretty long day, and we have been very, very busy, putting all of these criminal complaints together, um, that are very, very serious, and they're really huge. And so, maybe one day they'll say Richard's name, right? And they'll give us our son's remains. That is our hope and accountability. And right now, it looks like with the Trump administration, they're focused on the Army, they're focused on Fort Bliss. Um, and, we have been asked to provide names of 3 and 4 star generals um, that, were up to no good. So that is really important for us to do. And And of course, Sean Bernabe is one of those, and these are active duty, right? I could go on with, there's so many retired, but these two are active duty. And I even found out today that Patrick Matlock was retired, but it is Sean Bernabe and of course Donna Martin. Um, they are absolutely criminals of the United States. Um, and so, they need to be held accountable for what they've done. It seems like a tsunami is going on in the military, at the Pentagon, right? Their reports are that they are even destroying evidence. We have the evidence, so um, we have enough. But it looks like they're destroying like DEI evidence and things like that. So there's a tsunami there. There's a tsunami going on in the courthouse in El Paso, which is huge, and we'll be even reporting on that tomorrow because I think that's really important. Um, and then also at the DA's office, it's yeah, that Bill Hicks lost the election, so he'll be without protection, as much protection. He'll be without as much protection as what he's used to. So that is the news, and thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.